Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. Talk Radio.
Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee. Thank you, James. Thank you, Ash. 034... No, I'm not going to give out the number. Just hold off calling for a little bit. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Let me tell you a story. Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. And lots of things have fallen into place in about the last 20 minutes. So let me tell you a story. When I was about 7 years old, my sister joined the Brownies. She joined the Brownies. And I kind of liked the look of it, and I wanted to join the Brownies. And of course, I couldn't join the Brownies because I was a boy and I was too young. I don't know what the age limit is. I think it may be 10. I'm not 100% sure. So I couldn't join the Brownies. But in the same place where they had the Brownies, they did the Scouts and they did the Cubs. Okay. And we got talking to the woman who did the Cubs, Arcala of the Cubs, a woman called Mrs. Cutler. And she said, well, 7's a bit young, but we can probably take him about 8 or 9. That was exciting. So I got to join the Cubs, I think at 8. So that would have been 1981. Maybe 1982. Maybe. But they let me in early. And I was thrilled by that. And so the Cubs were run by this woman, Mrs. Cutler. Can't remember her first name. And the Scouts were run by her husband, Les Cutler, who everybody called Doc, because he was this really nice, kind of friendly guy. You know, they were an old couple. I mean, it's hard to, when you're 8 or 9, it's hard to tell how old people are, isn't it? I would have thought, well, see, looking back in my head, I would have thought in their 60s, but maybe a bit younger. Maybe in their late 50s. And we didn't have much to do with Doc Cutler, Les Cutler, because he was with the Scouts. So he was kind of looking after the older kids. What age do you become Scouts? 13, 14, something like that. But every now and then he would come in and help his wife outdo the cubs. Dib, 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 dob, 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 Arkayla, we will do our best. And he was very nice and everyone liked him, very gregarious, very kind of friendly gentleman. He had this, all the parents loved him. All the parents absolutely loved him. And he had this great habit of tickling you. He would tickle you. And he would do it. It was weird, right? Because, you know, some people consider, well, anyway, he would tickle you and he would get your collarbone. I mean, it was always at the collarbone. And he would do it, but it kind of hurt a bit, but you were laughing because you were being tickled. And when you're 8 or 9, part of the fun of being tickled is escaping, then going back and being tickled, then escaping, then going back and being tickled. And everybody loved it, and he was a local character. Anyway, when I was 8 or 9, we got to go to Cub Camp. Get this, Cub Camp. Now, we didn't actually go camping, which I was relieved to find out. Instead, we stayed inside a church hall, like a sort of, like a village hall, I think, in the New Forest. Apparently, it's still there. A friend of mine called Frank went there recently, went there in the last few years. It's still there. And there must have been, again, when you're looking back kind of 36 years, it's kind of hard to remember numbers. I remember there being something like 50 kids. Let's say 50 kids. Could be a bit more, could be a bit less. Don't matter. And for a lot of those 50 kids, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, it would have been their first time away from home. For some of them, they'd been before. They'd been to this Cub Camp before. And it was kind of, it felt very grown up. And it was all very exciting. And we had sleeping bags. And we were going to sleep on the floor. And we would, I think it was for a week, 6 days, maybe 7 days. And we would go out in the New Forest and we'd go swimming in the stream. And it was all very, very exciting. And then, I remember on the last day, we went... it's funny, isn't it weird, the things you remember? We went shopping in Poole. Remember we went to Poole, and I remember going into Our Price Records and they were playing Happy Birthday by Stevie Wonder. I have no idea why that sticks in my mind. Anyway, because there were so many kids, they needed, the Cutlers, Mrs. Cutler and Doc Cutler, needed more people to help out. So, they, some of the adults that were there was an Irish gentleman called Stan, who was, we were in one kind of cub group. We had names that were connected to the Jungle Book because of Kipling and all that nonsense. So we were in one group, and then Stan was kind of in charge of another group, and we were kind of like rivals, you know, as these things are. And there was some rivalry on the week away, both real and imagined. So Stan was there. There was also the dad of one of my friends who was a fireman and was absolutely terrifying, real kind of very fierce. I think he'd been in the military. I think. He was very brusque in tone, and he had a moustache, and he was very shouty. I remember years later, my friend, who was his son, got really into self-harming, got really into it. And we kind of thought, wow, that's nuts. And he moved out of home when he was like 16. Anyway, that's kind of almost irrelevant. And there was also the Cutlers. Now, it was their daughter, whose name, I cannot remember her name at all, but I remember she was blonde. And she must have been in her 20s. And there was also their son, Keith Cutler, who was, he was in his 20s as well, something like that. And it was weird, and it was exciting, and it was kind of tense, because we were away from home, and of course we didn't have mobile phones, and there wasn't a payphone, and we were kind of there for a week with no means of contacting home. Imagine that when you're 8, 9 years old. Quite daunting. And the first day we got there, I think, on a sort of Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon. And I remember being terrified because they said we were going to have to eat tomatoes. Imagine. And I hated tomatoes, hated them. And they were really strict. So when we get there, there's going to be food and you're going to have to eat it all. You know, the kind of food fascism that we don't really do with our kids now. You're going to have to eat it all. And I said, what about tomatoes? Yeah, there'll be tomatoes and you'll have to eat them. And I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. But I don't even remember any of the food that we ate. Anyway, the first day there, we all got taken into the hall. So there was a hall, big hall, like a village hall, and then there was as you look, there was sort of like a stage, I remember, and then there was a kitchen to the left, and sort of behind the stage there were showers. There were showers, those walk-through showers, which I don't think we'd had at school, so it was the first time I'd seen them, so they were kind of scary. Anyway, we all got down, and I had a big bag of comics. I had a big black sack full of Beanos and Whizzer and chips, because I was a kid, you know, kids, and and having these comics was kind of power, because I could say, it was a way of making friends, and kids would go, oh, can I read you? Yeah, sure. We'd all share the comics and stuff, and it was kind of a cool thing to have. Anyway, the first day there, we all kind of put our stuff down, and we get a talk from Doc Cutler, who I know he's dead. And he kind of told us, he set the rules out, right? And he said, what he says goes. He was the boss. Okay, yeah, fair enough. If there was any misbehaving, there would be strict, stiff consequences. And that could end up in you getting sent home, and no one wanted to get sent home because your parents would be thoroughly ashamed and embarrassed, and you didn't want to thoroughly shame and embarrass your parents. There were strict times when we had to go to bed. Before bed, there will be showers. We'd have to eat all the food. We'll be required to do certain activities. Oh, and by the way, sometimes when we go outside into the forest, we might go swimming in the stream. And of course, you'll want to go naked in the stream because you've not brought your swimmers with you. So you'll want to go naked in the stream. Oh, and by the way, sometimes when we go out into the woods, we're going to go to these bog pits. I guess, you know, it's all very marshy and muddy. And sometimes you will be asked to take all of your clothes off when you go to these bog pits, because it's more fun that way, guys. It's more fun as 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old children to be out in the woods naked. It's more fun to do that. Now, and this is where the caveat came in. He said, now, when you're outside, if you don't want to take your clothes off and run around naked, you won't have to. We won't make you do that. We can't make you do that. But your parents know all about it, and they're really keen for you to experience this this whole week in all of its glories. And that means kind of pushing yourself a bit to do things that perhaps make you feel a bit uncomfortable, because you can't develop as a person. You can't grow and mature unless you do these things and push yourself. So when we're out and about, if you don't want to strip off, you don't have to, but you will be letting the cubs down, you'll be letting yourself down, and you'll be letting your family down, okay? And I remember hearing this, and I remember I had this vision in my head, because I misunderstood what they'd said, right? So I had this vision in my head that we'd kind of just get turfed out into the streets, naked, like, you know, running around the streets. with houses and shops and stuff. And I remember, even at the age of 8 or 9, thinking, I don't want to do that. That sounds, and I didn't have a word for it. Looking back now, I can tell, even before anything had happened, I felt ashamed about it. It made me feel ashamed. And also intimidated and scared, because that's what adults are really good at doing. Anyway, Les carried on. There was more to it. There was more to it, guys. He said, so you don't have to strip off when we go out. Right? You don't have to do that. But, and then he got very, very serious with all of us. Before bed, you will have a shower. All of you will have a shower. You'll go off in groups of 5 and you'll have a shower. And before you have a shower, you will all strip off naked. It's about 50 kids between the age of 8 and 12. You will all strip off naked and we will play a game. There are to be no exceptions to this. Everybody will do it. No one gets out of this. Your parents know about it, and if you don't do it, we will tell them, and they will be furious with you. Everyone has to do this every single night. And I remember again thinking, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But we had to do it. So we went out, and I remember we went out to some kind of bog pit. I don't even know what it was, like a marsh or something. And the way I remember it, and again, I was 8 or 9. I'm 43 now, so I don't really know. But the way I remember it, it was kind of grey. I remember going swimming. I think I went swimming in my pants. And then we went to this kind of muddy area. And the image I have in my head is that everybody took all of their clothes off, right? Except for me. Now, there may have been other people, and some boys may have kept their pants on, right? But I remember everyone taking their clothes off except for me. And I remember not being allowed to play with the other children while they all went off and just danced around in the mud. And I remember standing with my coat on because it was quite cold. And I don't know who spoke to me, whether it was Les Cutler or his son, Keith Cutler, or it may even have been his wife, I don't know. And I was kind of told that I was an idiot, I was kind of made to feel ashamed, to feel less than. Look at all the fun they're having. You're choosing not to have fun. What's wrong with you? Why don't you? It's just a bit of fun. Why don't you? And I have no idea how 8, 9-year-old me managed to withstand that. But I didn't take my clothes off. I imagine I just shut down. I imagine I shut down completely and just didn't say anything, because I can't imagine disobeying an adult like that. There was something in me that was strong enough to say, nah, you're not getting involved in this. Anyway, we went back. This was the first night. And, of course, everyone was muddy. So as soon as we got back, everyone stripped off. The kids only, of course, not the adults. That would be weird. So 50, 8 to 12-year-old kids stripped off, completely naked, no pants allowed. And we played a game. And I had to get involved in this. I had no choice whatsoever. We had to play a game. And the game was Les and his son Keith Cutler would bounce at least one, possibly more, tennis balls around. And we had to jump around and catch them. Imagine that. 50 boys, aged between 8 and 11, naked, jumping around, catching a tennis ball. Just imagine that for a second, right? And while you're imagining that, imagine that at the I've spoken to a few people since, so I know that others are feeling the same. But feeling just the most ashamed, embarrassed, awful you've ever felt about yourself, because an adult has made you do something that you don't want to do, that you know is wrong, and you can't quite work out what's wrong about it because we're not quite sexually aware at that age. But there is certainly, my boy now, who's going to be 7 in January, is already embarrassed about being naked in front of me and embarrassed about if I'm in the bathroom when he goes to the toilet, and he wants his privacy. So imagine 8 to 12 and feeling ashamed, but also knowing we had to do it because if we didn't do it, our mums and dads who knew about this, so we were told, would be furious with us. They'd be furious. And it must be all right because mum and dad, we've been told, know about this, so they must have sanctioned this. So I don't know why they would have sanctioned something like that, but that's what we've told has been happening. And there's no phones, so we can't phone them up to say anything. This is happening. And then what would happen is 5 boys at a time would get picked, and this is when it gets a little bit hazy. And as I remember it, 5 boys would get picked, would go into the back room with possibly Keith Cutler, possibly the daughter, but I don't remember, and would have a shower. And it was those walk-in showers that we had never seen before because I don't think we had them in my middle school. In fact, I'm pretty sure we didn't. And we had to stand there and shower in front. It was probably Keith Cutler. It was definitely in front of one of the men. I remember that. And we had to shower and we had to get everything clean. And then once you'd done that, you got to go and put your pyjamas on. So it was the evenings were stressful. You'd eat the food, you'd take your clothes off, you'd jump around naked, you'd have a shower and be stared at, and then you get your pyjamas on. Up until about 2 weeks ago, that's all I remembered. And then last week I remembered something. I remembered 2 things. One, I remember that Keith Cutler, the son, and Les Cutler, the father, would walk around doing inspections at night when everyone was asleep. And they'd given out this warning that if you were awake, I remember at the time thinking, that's odd. If you were awake, you'd be in very serious trouble. And I remember being awake on the floor and them standing by my head as I'm lying down, and I could hear them whispering something. And all I remember was, please don't notice I'm awake, please don't notice I'm awake, please don't notice I'm awake. And then they walked on, and I breathed a sigh of relief. 2 other things I remembered. One, there was a kid that we all laughed at, and we were encouraged to laugh at by the adults because he shit himself. And we were encouraged to point our fingers and laugh at him. And I also remember there was another kid called Lee who he got taken home in the middle of the night because he went mental. I don't know why, I don't know what happened. I know he went mental, screaming and shouting. And he was a bit of a trouble kid anyway. He was kind of, bully's a strong word, but he was trouble. We kind of would keep away from him at school. He's in the same class as me at school. And we'd keep away from him because he'd just go nuts for no reason and would get quite aggressive and quite violent. I don't know what happened. Anyway, the last day we went to pool. I remember I found these 2 rocks on the beach. We went to the beach, these 2 rocks that looked like hearts. And I thought, oh, they'll be nice. I'm going to paint them and give them to my mum and dad. And then we went home on the minibus, and it must have been about 2.5, 3 hour journey. And something happened on the minibus. I don't know what. But I remember pretending to be asleep for the whole journey home. The whole journey. Because the way I remember it, as the week had gone on, I kind of shut down, man. And I'd stopped communicating with pretty much anyone. And on the way home, I just pretended to be asleep because I didn't want to talk to anyone. And we got there, and Les Cutler laughed at me because I had those rocks, and he told my mum and dad, and I never did end up painting them. I never did give them to them in the end. I think I just tossed them out. Anyway. A few years ago, Frank, who was there, got in touch with me. And he sent me this. Look, this is good. Listen to this. This is from the Kilburn Times. A pervert who carried... This is from 2011. A pervert who carried out depraved acts on vulnerable boys while working as a volunteer in a scout group in Willesden has been jailed. Willesden, OK, so that... Yeah, I was in Slough, so it's some distance away. But listen to this. Keith David Cutler. Oh, I remember that name. 57. Sexually abused his victims between 1971 and 1980, with one boy targeted for 5 years. Hang on a minute. I was in the Cubs in 1981 with Keith David Cutler. Oh, no! Harrow Crown Court heard Cutler was finally snared after one of his victims came forward in March of last year, 2010. The man, who is now in his 40s, told detectives he was subjected to 5 years of abuse by Cutler, including an assault when they were away on a scouting camping trip. When Cutler was arrested at his home in West Drayton, Middlesex, detectives found him in possession of 238 naked images of children. And part of me wonders, well, was I one of them? I don't remember if there were cameras around. It's quite possible there were cameras around. Following his arrest, a second victim was identified and traced, and when police raided Cutler's home again, they found a further 45 indecent images. He was subsequently charged, and following the publicity, a third victim came forward. Today, this is in 2011, he was jailed for 4 years for 10 child sex offences between 71 and 80, and being in possession of 257 indecent images of children. He was also placed on the sex offenders register for life. Detective Constable David Gill, investigating officer, said the victims in this case have suffered unimaginably for years. I would like to pay tribute to their immense courage in coming forward and their overwhelming bravery throughout this investigation. And then it goes on, if anybody is... And there's a picture of him, and I recognise him. I recognise that guy. That was the guy. That was the man. That was the man that was there, that watched me jumping around naked with 49 other kids and then studied us as we had a shower. Now, that's all I remember, right? So... John Ronson does a very funny line, which is kind of inappropriate, but I'm going to say it. He was having a past life regression therapy, I think. And the woman taking it said, well, this will help you remember things that you've suppressed in your childhood, so you've forgotten them. And he said, oh, what kinds of things? She said, well, maybe you were raped as a child. And John Ronson said, well, if I was raped as a child, I think I'd remember that. Now, it's funny, but... Now, I'm not saying I was raped as a child. I probably got off lightly. My friend, Paul, who is a very wise man, says it's still sexual abuse. So don't downplay it, because I always go, well, as far as I remember, I wasn't touched. And as far as I'm pretty sure that I wasn't raped. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't remember being touched. So I was only forced to strip off and humiliate myself as an 8-year-old boy, possibly 9, as though that makes a difference, for the benefit of Keith David Cutler and the other people that were present. Now, I don't know if the other people that were present were getting their jollies from it or not. I don't know. All I know is getting any kid to dance around naked for you is pretty lame, isn't it? It's not the done thing. Anyway, why am I talking about this? Oh, and a couple of years ago, one of the people got in touch and said, do you remember this? And I went, yeah, I remember this. Because I kind of hinted at it on another radio show. And I'd sort of kept looking online and just finding little bits out. And a guy called Frank, and he sent me that thing about Keith Cutler. And then he sent me a picture of the Cubs and the Scouts and all the people. And suddenly I remembered all these faces. And we went to the police. We did go to the police, but without we couldn't find anyone who would say they had been, raped, basically. And without that, the police said, well, there's not really a lot that we can do. Which is interesting because one of those people in the story is still working within the scouting community. Wow, gosh. Yeah? Anyway, why am I mentioning that? Well, because it's all the rage these days, isn't it? I haven't been able to talk about it. I remember I mentioned it on a radio show about 8 years ago, and my mum was listening, and I went and saw my mum, and she was in tears. She said, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? And I said, because I couldn't tell you, because I was ashamed. I was ashamed. She said, why didn't you tell me and your dad? Your dad would have gone round there and done whatever a dad, would think was appropriate to do. And I said, I couldn't tell you because I was ashamed. Shortly after that, and I love the Cubs, shortly after that, I stopped going to the Cubs. About 2 or 3 months after that, I kind of would be sick for a little bit. And then I remember they were showing the 5 Doctors, the Doctor Who thing. And I said, actually, I want to stay and see it. Then they were showing Spider-Man. And I remember it really vividly. It was on a Friday night. And I said, I want to see, or a Thursday, I want to see. And I just stopped going. And it was never mentioned. And my mum would say, why don't you want to go? You used to love it. I go, I just don't fancy it. I just don't fancy it. So, this is why I feel I have an affinity, and that word may be too strong. I feel I have an affinity with some people that come forward years after an event has happened, a sexual event has happened against them, and speak out about it. Again, I'm minimising, but, I know that what happened to me is comparatively nothing, but it was enough to create a life cycle, a lifetime of shame and self-hatred and a cycle of self-abusive behaviour, right? No, it wasn't just that. There was other bits and pieces. It was that. And it's all in the papers today, isn't it, with this Barry Bennell gentleman. Now, I don't know any of the names. Well, actually, Alan Brazil is mentioned as a victim on the front page, I don't know a lot of the names, but I'm reading this story about the sexual abuse that happened within the football community, and I'm kind of thinking, and we're surprised. Why? Why is everyone surprised by this? Isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious this was going on? This is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. This is just the tip of the icebergs. This has been going on forever in all kinds of places, and it's still going on. It's still going on. And then you go on Twitter tonight, and Eric Bristow, a man I used to worship as a kid. Seriously, we used to love the crafty Cockney. He sent this tweet. And I don't want to make this about Bristow, because that'll be easy. The real crime is Barry Bennell and David Cutler, and those are the real criminals. But Bristow is an idiot, and I'll tell you why. He sent a tweet in regards to this story. Might be a loony, but if some football coach was touching me when I was a kid, as I got older, I would have went back and sorted that puff out. He since tweeted 11 minutes ago, sorry, I meant pedo, not puff. Oh, that's all right then. You kind of have to forgive Eric Bristow, because it's almost impossible for victims of sex abuse to do that. I'm finding it hard even talking about this, and it's bringing. And I'm still feeling ashamed of what I was made to do, and my throat's tightening, and my chest is tightening, and. I thought maybe one day I'd go back and confront Les Cutler and ask him what was going on, but he's dead, so I can't do that. And I don't particularly want to go and see this Keith Cutler character, because what is that going to achieve? So you kind of have to forgive Bristow for thinking it is that easy. Thinking is the way you get over being manipulated and humiliated as a child is you go back to that person and you tell them that they're a complete and utter winker and you smack them in the face and then it's all done. You've taken back power. And it doesn't work like that, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever. It doesn't work like that. So I was kind of toying telling this story last week, and I'm glad I held off until Bristow, and then I was going to make it about Bristow. And Bristow isn't the story. Bristow is just an example of not even an idiot, just someone who doesn't understand what it's like to be humiliated as a child and to have the power kind of completely taken away from you, so that you can't even 35 years later. People struggle to talk about it. Jesus, all I did was get stripped off and made to jump around and humiliated. I don't even remember being touched or touching anyone. I can't remember it. So I pray to God that it didn't happen. Imagine how hard it must be if some kid's been raped. If some kid has been forced to get down on their hands and knees and take something, one end or the other. Imagine how awful that must feel and how disempowering that must be. Which is why, yeah, it's a shame that Cliff Richard got in the newspapers, and it's a shame that Leon Britton got in the newspapers because they were being investigated for stuff that they didn't do. But isn't it great that we investigate these people? When people come forward and say they've been raped, it's great that we investigate it and we take it as a fact. I'm going off on a tangent that's slightly irrelevant, so I'm going to stop. That's the end of my story, dear listener. Thank you for listening. You don't have to call in about that. Don't worry. We can still mess around. I kind of fancied a game of iPod roulette this evening, if anybody's up for that. I'm feeling lucky. 03, that's how you kill the switchboard, by the way, guys, is spending the first 40 minutes talking about the mild sexual abuse you experienced as a child. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
The postscript. The saddest thing about that whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, not the years of self-abuse and self-hatred, is it means that I'm really reluctant to let my boys join the Cubs. Do you know what I mean? And I know that most people that are involved with Cubs are just very passionate people, passionate in a healthy sense, of wanting to enrich young people's lives. And it's a tiny thing. But I'm not going to stop my boys joining the Cubs. And obviously, perhaps it will make me a little bit more, interested in who's there. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one, man. Anyway, 03, Steve, let me read this tweet. I don't doubt your unfortunate experience. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for not doubting me, man. However, many such claims have been proven to be false, which damages the genuine case. No, but we have to treat them all as true, Steve. We have to treat them all as true. Yes. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We don't have to talk about that, by the way, dear listener. We can talk about anything. We can talk about the fact I've not used deodorant for 3 days. You know that awful thing when you run out of deodorant and you think, I'll get some later. I'll get some tomorrow. I haven't used it for 3 days. And my ever-increasing desire to lose weight means I'm spending more and more time at the gym. I did a 45-minute fat burn session today. What that means is I nearly puked up in front of 15 women. That's what it means. It was awful. I did fat burn. I don't know what I did. I did some last week. And then I did, it's a 45-minute, and this is how much of an idiot I am. I booked in immediately after an hour of yoga. I cancelled the yoga. I thought there's no way I'm going to do it, because yoga's quite hard work. It's supposed to be breathing and stretching, but it's not, it's painful. A 45-minute fat burn session. I wasn't the worst. I was the second worse. There was one woman who I noticed. There was one woman I was watching, and when she stopped, I'd do things for another 5 seconds, and then I'd stop, so that I wasn't the worst. And why do they have mirrors in these places? It means basically, I'm staring, and in my face at the moment, I really like my dad, and in my tummy, because he was a fat man. And I'm staring at a fat, sweaty version of my dad looking back at me. And it's unpleasant. It is unpleasant. Gym's is weird places, but I'm on a waiting list for a spin class tomorrow. And I'm doing a fat burn on Wednesday, only half an hour. The thing is, I went Friday. I couldn't go Saturday or Sunday because of the kids. And I couldn't walk by Saturday evening, and all day Sunday I couldn't walk. I couldn't lift my arms. The boys wanted me to lift them up. I couldn't lift my arms. And so the thing I found is you have to do it every single day. If you take one day off, everything seizes up. I had, this morning, I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning. I fell asleep listening to Howard Hughes. Who was the first person on Howard Hughes? Because I fell asleep listening to it, and it was wonderful stuff last night. I was in bed listening to Bob Mills, which was brilliant. Bob Mills interviewing Jimmy Cricket. Oh, it was great. Oh, it was brilliant. They should put that as a podcast. It was absolutely brilliant. And then I caught about the first hour or so of Howard Hughes, and I drifted off. And I woke up at 2:30 to go for a pee, and I couldn't walk. My legs. It's because I hadn't been to the gym for 2 days. Outrageous. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. We all need a dose of Caddick.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 Alan.
What kind of cake?
Lemon drizzle. No cake, Alan. I'm off the cake.
Oh, you're off the cake?
I'm off the cake. No cake.
Oh, right.
Rice cake. I'll have a rice cake.
Well, I fancy urinal cake.
You dirty boy.
Anyway,
yes.
Got a question to ask you, Ian.
Yes, Alan.
Are you going to be on over Christmas?
I'm taking 1 week off over Christmas. I'm taking... Christmas is on is Christmas on a Sunday?
Yeah, it's on Sunday, so Boxing Day will be on Monday.
Yeah, so I'm taking that week off. The week beginning the 26th of December, I'm off. But then I'm in on the Sunday for the New Year's Eve show.
That's Saturday night, New Year's Day.
Is it Saturday New Year's Eve?
Yeah, New Year's Eve is on Saturday.
Boom. Then I'm in. Kath, have you sorted it out? Are you doing it? Maybe. I'm definitely in 4 hours. Saturday night at 9 o'clock going into New Year's Day, and we'll do something special. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I might invite a couple of you guys in if you want to come in. Not you, Alan.
Obviously not me. I'll be at my own New Year's party.
And we'll have a fun show that will be an antidote to all those stuffy shows. Let's try on the New Year's Eve show. Let's try not to mention any of the people that have died this year.
Like
Don't.
Mr.
And Mrs.
Mr. What's his name?
Is it? No, listen, I heard this on the Bob Mills show last night, right? Is it inappropriate that on the New Year's Eve show, people phone up and tell me who they think will die in 2017, and then we put it in an envelope and we seal that envelope for 12 months? I can't, it's an idea. It's an idea that Bob Mills was talking about in relation to someone else. It's not my completely original idea, but is it worth doing that, or is that possibly, Alan? Is that possibly going to activate the curse?
I think that's tempting fate.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it though? We could put people on there we didn't like.
Like no tidy beard.
Who?
No tidy beard.
No, I like no tidy beard. No tidy beard. So I don't know what we're going to do. It's 4 hours, so I don't know what we're going to do. I might bring the drums in. Might bring some bongos in. Play bongos.
What about some Japanese music?
Yeah, play some Japanese music and some bongos.
Has Kath ever heard you play the bongos?
I didn't understand a word of that.
Has Kath ever heard you play the bongos?
She's seen my bongos.
And also, we've still got performance ring before that.
We've got what?
Performance ring in December.
Performance ring December the 11th. Yes, that's all exciting. I think we've got 9 acts lined up for that, and we might also have a round of iPod roulette there as well.
and you need me on Skype to do something.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be on Skype, but maybe you can sing us a song or something.
Or I could do a poem about the year.
Or maybe you could sing us a song or something.
Like Star Trekking?
Why the hell not? You're banned from doing it in your local karaoke bar. You will not be banned from singing Star Trekking on Skype at Performance
And
Ring.
I could do the intros live as well.
You can do you can do the intros live. That's I tell you what, Alan. That's exactly what we'll do. Okay.
Yeah, you need my Skype address.
Yeah, we'll sort that out. All right, Alan. Nice one.
Cheers, Ian.
Ta-ta. Yeah, I forgot Alan's going to be part of Performance Ring on December the 11th. That's exciting. Speaking of exciting, Kath and I had a very exciting meeting this evening. We're going to be doing a new podcast where it's going to be in front of an audience. There's tickets for January the 24th or something. I don't know, Sunday in January. It's going to be a phone-in show. Like, it's pre-recorded phone-in show in front of an audience. Did I ever send you, Kath, the David Cross sketch from Mr. David Cross popped up in my car when we were driving in today. It's such a good sketch from Mr. Shaw. I'll send you the link. And it's him doing a pre-recorded phone-in show where they're talking about because it's pre-recorded, then gets transmitted a week later. Have you seen it? And so they're phoning in to talk about last week's topics. He's going, no, we're not talking about that tonight. I'll watch it during the news. It's so funny. It's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, it'll be a bit like that. And we're very, very excited about it. We think this could be the future. Russell!
Hey, what's up?
What's happening, Russell?
I could do with having Alan around.
No,
in my life.
Things can't be that bad, Russell. Surely you don't want a caddick in your life.
He's a happy man.
Well, I think partly it's down to the medication.
Steroids.
How you doing, man? Are things picking up?
No, not really.
No,
some bit. Just an update on the job.
Yeah.
I rang the manager and I asked him when I'm back, and he said the radio is down for the next month.
Oh.
So I rang my father and I asked him to turn on the radio, and the presenter that bullied me was on.
Now, was it a recording though? Because sometimes when radio stations close down, they put out old stuff for a month.
No, because he said the time and the date and all that. So it was live, a live show.
So what are you going to do? I did reply to your email. Did you get it, Russ?
I didn't actually get it.
Oh, because I did say if you wanted me to email the boss, I'd be happy to.
Well, he wouldn't do a thing about it.
Okay, well, that's your decision. Now, the offer is there. That's your decision if you don't want me to do that, of course.
I can't find your Periscope.
There's no Periscope. There's no Periscope tonight, Russell. I've got a new rule. If I don't feel up to it, I'm not going to Periscope. And tonight I don't feel up to it, so I've just thought not bothered.
Because I got a new phone and I want to check it out.
Well, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Russell, listen, I've got to go because we're coming up to the top of the hour and I've missed all my breaks tonight so far. So thank you very much. That offer is open, Russell. If you want me to send an email to your boss, I don't know what good it will do, but we'll happily do that. Unfortunately, Rob Burnett will have to come on after the news.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hi, I'm Bruce McCullough. I'd like to tell you about the Daves I know. These are 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 the Daves I know. David Hoffner, he works in my dad's store. He's worked here for 12 years, he'll probably work here for more. These are the Daves I know. 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 Dave Gord, I've known since I was 6. Ingrated, he broke his leg, so we got drunk and sick. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know. Some of them are Davids,
but most of us are Daves.
They all have their own hands, but they come from different moms. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know. Dave Jadisky, man, this cat can swing. He weighs almost 50 pounds and he delivers my paper on time. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know. Dave Capisano, I hardly know him. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know. These are the days I know, I know. These are the days I know.
We are the days he knows, he knows. We are the days he knows. We are the days he knows, he knows. We are the days he knows. Some of us are Daves, but most of us are Daves. We all have our own hands, but we come from different moms.
These are the days I know, I know.
We are the days he knows, he knows.
These are the days.
During the break, we were watching the Mr. Show sketch with the pre-recorded show. It's very, very funny. I love Mr. Show. And then that reminded me that I also love Kids in the Hall. You found a Kids in the Hall? It's a Canadian thing, and it was kind of 90s. You heard of them, Ed? You know,
never heard of them.
Kids in the Hall are brilliant. They're brilliant because they're hit and miss. And I love things that are hit and miss. I think Monty Python is very, very hit and miss. And Kids in the Hall are the same. Their hits are brilliant, and then they can do quite long, dull sketches that aren't that funny and don't have a punchline. And then I just think they're wonderful. Anyway, maybe it's time I got on a Kids in the Hall jag. What do you reckon, Rob?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah! Ah!
Way!
Ah!
All right. I'd get off him now.
Yeah?
He's not enjoying it.
No. Rob, you will be performing
I will.
Sunday, December the 11th at Performance Ring. Have you actually... Now, listen, we are considering you being the closing act.
Okay.
So there's I don't want to say there's no pressure, because there's a lot of pressure, but I don't want to say there's a lot of pressure because I don't want to put pressure on you. But there is a lot of pressure.
It's good. I've bought props.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. It's a sold-out crowd. There's going to be 100 people there, Rob, all waiting to see you do some nonsense.
Yeah, it should be fun. Come along.
Come along, guys.
It's sold out, isn't it?
It's sold out, yeah. It's sold out.
No refunds.
No refunds, guys.
Very clear.
If you want refunds, then please stay in your seat after the show. We'll nip outside and just sort out all the money in the car as we're driving home. Thanks very much. Good night. God bless.
There you go.
What you got for us, Rob? Not spoken to you for a while.
Apologies. Work's been nuts.
I can do a joke there. Unless you've got a joke already lined up.
No.
Go on. Say that again.
Apologies, work's been nuts.
What, are you a monkey? Yeah. I could have gone for, cojones, and I thought, no, I'm better than that. I'm an all-round entertainer.
There you go.
Thank you very much indeed.
Speaking of which...
Yeah.
4 weeks to Christmas, Ian.
Hey.
And you know what?
Yeah.
One of the worst things in the world for some of your listeners will be waking up alone on Christmas morning.
It'll be lonely this Christmas.
We all want that person to cuddle, buy us a present.
Yeah.
And there's a name for those people.
Yeah.
Losers.
Oh.
They can't pull. I'm joking. But I've been preparing this. I was going to take it to TED Talks, but tonight... Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Burnett's Guide to Seduction.
Hey!
To allow you to have a wonderful Christmas morning.
Beautiful.
So, it's a very simple solution. It'll take 2 minutes to run through this.
Okay,
Ian?
Yes.
Could you please play a prospective stranger?
Certainly.
Would you like to be male or female? We can do gender fluid.
I'll be male, please.
You're going to be male? Okay. Now, here's the thing. Ian is probably, what, a 4 or a 5?
What do you mean a 4 or 5?
A 4 or a 5.
What do you mean?
A 4, come on.
Out of what? 10?
You're not Bruno from Strictly, you know.
I would say I'm, who's that guy that's married to Ola? James. I'm James who's married to Ola.
Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, I'd say I'm about an 8, like him.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, it's fantasy, yeah.
I'm less mental.
You're an 8,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at that prospective partner and thinks they're out of my league.
Yeah.
They're just as insecure as you are.
Oh.
And if you're listening to this right now, they're worried about the way they look. They're worried about the way they interact.
Yeah, yeah.
And all it takes is 2 simple things. You ask them a question, you give them a compliment, and you need to have your mobile phone ready.
Okay. I've got literally no idea what you're talking about.
So,
right.
Ian, you're at the tube station.
Yes.
This is the way to get rid of, Tinder and Grindr, which are just sex things.
Sex things.
We don't want them.
Sex thing. You're my sex thing.
This is how to get a relationship.
Yep.
Okay, so I walk up to you, Ian. You're on the Central Line.
Yes.
I know I need to go to Fleet Street. Now, here's the thing. I know Fleet Street isn't on the line.
Fleet Street doesn't have a station.
But this is the thing. I know this.
What?
You know this, but I'm going to pretend I don't.
Okay.
To get talking to you.
Yeah.
So I walk up to you and I go, oh, excuse me, you've got a kind face. Role play.
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, could you tell me, is Fleet Street station on this tube line?
Dunno.
Oh, it's just I've got to go to the hospital.
What, in the Fleet Street Hospital?
Yeah. I've got to go for an operation to have my penis reduced.
Oh,
Do you want to go for coffee?
Yeah, sure, I'd love to.
There you go. Simple as that.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Good luck.
Well, yeah, thank you very much indeed. Well, that's certainly given us something to think about. Do you really have a clue what was going on then? He's going to be the closing act on the Christmas performance ring. Aye, really? Oh, dearie. I went to a really good kids' 6th birthday party on Sunday morning. It was brilliant, right? It was absolutely brilliant. First of all, there was food for the adults. Well, first of all, we were told it was 10 till 12, right? So we're in this sort of big hall, and they'd hired a bit of money. They'd hired these little electric cars and a track, and so the kids were buzzing around this track. And come 12 o'clock, right, when we thought the party was finishing, so we were all starting to leave. They went, "Oh no, we've got food upstairs." Beautiful. And they didn't just have food for the kids; they had a buffet for the adults, and it was all kind of spicy meats and samosas. Oh, it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And my youngest, he gets very shy. It takes after me in groups. Okay, he gets very shy, and he did not want to drive these cars. And I knew that he'd love it. So we wangled it so that I could sit on the car, and I started driving it. And then I said, "Oh, can you take over for a minute?" And then once he took over, boom, he was away, and he was so thrilled. Because after the 2 hours of racing, I think he got about 5 or 6 goes on there. At the end, the people that were organising the driving, they had 3 trophies, these tiny little trophies about the size of an egg cup to give away. And obviously the birthday boy got one, obviously. And then another kid got... And then my youngest got a trophy because the guy recognised that he was quite nervous about it. But then he'd been very brave. And my youngest... Because the eldest has won a couple of judo trophies and he's got a couple of things, and medals and things. And my youngest had never won a trophy before. He'd never won a trophy. He was over the moon. All day he's carrying this trophy around. We went out to the new Japanese restaurant that's next door to the old Japanese restaurant. He brought the trophy with him. He had to drink from the trophy. We're drinking from his tiny little trophy. He went to bed and he fell asleep in his brother's bed while I was doing the ironing. And I went to get him out. He fell asleep clutching his trophy. Oh! And he took it into school today to show his teacher. He kept saying, "I've never won a trophy before. Anyway, so it was a really, really nice party. And I didn't know the family. It was a friend of my boys, so I didn't know that I hadn't met the family. And were chatting to them. They'd really made a lot of effort, and it was superb. The food, the cars, everything was absolutely out of this world. Really was a top-class party. Except one thing, right? The children's entertainer. Well, I don't want to be rude, right? But he did not stink of fags. Really, it was this old guy, and he had this red shirt on. I remember it was very sweaty under the pits, and the bottom button had come undone. And he was doing balloon models first, right? And he's doing the balloon models. He's got these kids around him doing the balloon models. And over in the corner, he's obviously brought in this giant Spider-Man balloon. It's obviously a bit pricey. I imagine he reuses it. I don't know. And he's making some flowers for a girl. And he goes, "Yeah, I want some flowers." Put that down! Put the Spider-Man down! Make your balloon fly. And he went back, and I just remember thinking, that's weird. Now, it wasn't my party, so I didn't have to get involved. It wasn't my child, so I didn't have to get involved. But he then stopped to do some magic, and I kept filming him surreptitiously. And then I'd stop. Then when I'd stop, he would tell a kid off again. He would just tell these kids off. It was the funniest thing. And it wasn't in my act is being a bit, will you stop doing that? It was, will you stop doing that? And he had loads of teeth missing. So you couldn't really understand what he was saying. You couldn't understand what he was saying. And I just looked at him. And he did some pretty good magic tricks, right? And I just thought, because a lot of these people obviously get, it's word of mouth, isn't it? And I thought, I ain't recommending him to nobody. It was a brilliant party. And you know, the kids didn't notice it, so it was fine. And the kids enjoyed the magic. And I say the food was out of this world, guys. It's a real lesson on how to throw a kid's party with a side buffet for the adults. It was wonderful. Really nice family as well. I was talking to the dad a bit. But this guy was just inappropriate children's entertainers, stinking of fags, and shouting at the kids. It was the weirdest thing. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give me a call. My name is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Sorry, guys. I'm busy sending some texts because we're going to get Chaz and Dave on the show one night. That's what we're going to do. I'm just texting my friend Paul. But what we might do, Kath, is we might go and meet Chaz and Dave. Yeah, that's what we might do. He said, do you want them in the studio or on the phone? Or I said, well, because Paul is Chaz's son-in-law. Yeah, I've always got to think. Even though I know. I said, well, any chance we could go and meet the guys? And he said, yeah, I'll sort it out. Boom. Get them round the old Joanna. Playing a few songs, telling a few stories, bishy bashy boshy, beautiful. Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. It's a late night phoning show, unlike any other phoning show. Heavy start, but it doesn't have to be a heavy rest of the show. Robin Ince, the comedian and the co-host of the Infinite Monkey Cage on Radio 4, wrote really good review in The Big Issue about the show, about the work that me and Ed and Catherine do, and you do as well, dear listener. Your contributions to it as well. And do you know what? I couldn't find anybody that was selling The Big Issue, but I have read it, and he mentions the clunky gear changes that we do. And I'm glad he did, because I think it's a real integral part of this show is that we can be talking, I don't know, like just talking complete and utter tosh, and then go to something really, really heavy, and then straight away we start talking about a song called These Are the Daves I Know. And I like that. I've tried for too long to try and cover up the clunky gear changes with a bit of music or a sting or a gentle segue. And then when I was at the BBC, it dawned on me, well, no, that is what life is. Life is clunky gear changes. And conversations are clunky gear changes. You know, you'll be at a funeral and you'll be in tears 1 minute, and then the next minute you'll be pissing yourself laughing because you're remembering something that your dead dad or your dead nan did, and then then that will take you off a conversation. Then you remember why you're there, so you'll go back to being upset, and then and that is kind of what life and conversations are. They're clunky gear changes, you know. So I'm glad he picked up on that, because it's something I'm quite proud that we do, really, and we don't go, well, and that was the end of. Look, let me hang on a minute. This is what it would be like. Hang on. Let me get my sound effects up. Hang on a second. Okay, so it would be. Oh, I haven't got any bits of music. Hang on.
Prove it.
No, what?
Prove it.
What?
Prove it.
Okay, yeah. So we go, and that was a really sad thing about starving children. Now, if you're feeling hot, no, maybe that's too much of a clunky gear change. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to find. I haven't got.
Hello.
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 I can't believe what I'm listening to.
I haven't got any stabs of music, so I can't illustrate it. But if you don't get my point, then what the hell are you? Dana.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip. No cake.
No cake. No cake.
No cakey for me.
I'm off it as well, so
Catherine,
we're all off the cake.
Catherine and I went for a healthy Nando's before the show, and I had, what was it called? Like, it looked like a deposit. That stuff I had. What was it? It was like Pulses. Was it Pulses or something? It was called Pulses. Super Grains. That was it. Super Grains. And it more like Super Stains. It was, and Kath had chips. And she offered me chips, Dana, and do you know what? I didn't have any chips.
Yeah, you said no.
I didn't have any chips. And we normally, they do really good desserts in Nando's, like really good sort of like chocolate fudge cake and stuff, right?
And you resisted.
We got up and went out. We got up. We went out. We
So you're
didn't
an
have any.
inspiration.
I am an inspiration, Dana. I'm going to do it.
That's what they are. Talk radio needs to have big posters. Italy, an inspiration.
That's what
he didn't have pudding.
Yeah, we didn't have no pudding. There we go. He didn't have no pudding.
I'll ring up your PR department tomorrow and suggest that.
Listen, Dana, I've worked here for 8 months. I didn't know we had a PR department. What have you got for us, Dana?
We'll club together and we'll,
yes, exactly.
we'll do a poster for you. I wanted to know, did you want to play a game?
Yeah.
Not a very good game.
Oh.
Guess where I've been this evening?
Okay. You've been to the theatre?
No.
Okay.
I passed the theatre.
Oh, clues! So early. Oh, did you do your upside down fitness class?
No, that's this Saturday.
Okay, right. Okay.
And depending on how that goes, we'll let you know next week. So I met a friend.
Yeah.
Who I haven't met in a long time.
Yeah.
And we then were in central London.
Yeah.
And then guess where we went?
Okay, we're still playing the game. We're still playing the guess where Dana went game. In central London. Oh, did you go to Quasar, Laser Quest?
No.
No, you didn't do Laser Quest.
No, but in some ways, sometimes it felt like I was in a place like that.
Hey,
but no.
there was a did I read this story in the papers or did I dream it? Really, this is a sad story, and I have to say this because often I'll tell stories and they're funny, right?
Yeah.
But no, I must have. This couldn't have been a news story. That you know Laser Quest.
Yeah.
Right. That this is a true story that someone fell and crushed someone. So, you know when you go to Laser Quest, right, if you haven't got enough people for a game, they'll match you up with someone else. Yeah. And so, like, a group of, like, they weren't quite squaddies, but a group of grown men went and played Laser Quest, but they didn't have enough for a full game. So they got paired up with, like, a kiddie's 11th birthday party.
Oh, sounds bad.
And one of the blokes fell on one of the kids and killed him.
No.
I know, isn't it?
That's terrible.
Isn't it awful? I mean, that's just outrageous. Firstly, outrageous for so many levels. First of all, I thought all of the Laser Quests had gone in the country. Secondly, what were they thinking? Pairing big hulking men up with kids? What the hell were they thinking?
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
No. But But clunky gear change, guess where I was this evening?
Oh yeah, we still haven't done it. I don't know. I give up. Where were you?
I ended up in sex shops. My God, things have changed in my day.
What were you doing in sex shops?
Well, my friend had ordered something.
Oh.
So he said, let's go to Old Compton Street.
My friend had ordered something. All right, Dana, that's fine. And what had your friend ordered, Dana?
Well, I didn't want to make him really embarrassed, so I stood away while he went up to the... See, originally his order, it seems, was cancelled, so we had to go to another sex shop.
Yes.
So we went into two, and he did some browse. Didn't want to embarrass him too much, because I think he felt a bit uncomfortable. So I don't really know what he bought. He bought something made of metal, and I think it goes on... I think it does something down there for men. But anyway, I just stood there like an idiot.
Oh God, I don't. Is it? Ring. Is it a ring?
Yeah, I think so. But it seemed like it was. I did see it slightly. It was like a coiled one. It seemed to be multiple rings.
There's a brilliant. Again, this is a little bit naughty. Okay, so if you got, well, they won't get it because it's high frequency. We're talking about Mr. Show. There's a brilliant sketch on Mr. Show where they do an advert for this item, and the kind of character that promotes it is a cockerel. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Any cockle-doo! We got brass ones, we got wooden ones, we got glass ones, we got marble ones. It's really...
there were loads of those around, but I'm just standing there in this basement in this sex shop with two other blokes looking at some, getting quite happy with each other, but I'm trying not to notice that.
Good for them.
My friend in the other corner chatting to the assistant buying his rings.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know where to look. There's just rubber things everywhere. There's some of them. I don't know. They just it was painful looking at them.
I haven't been in a sex shop for a long, long time, for like years, right? But the thing to do when you're in there, walk around like you own like you're in Marks and Spencers or something. Go okay. What have we got? Have you got these? Have you got these in size too tight? No. Okay, fine. Thank you. Yeah, you got to walk around like you own the place. So you got all the whips and the chain. Okay, this is now. Look at this. This looks good. And of course, you got to do all that stuff.
Oh no, I did, but I still felt a bit out of place. But I did. I was picking things up, looking at things. I got the camera out, took a couple of crafty pictures.
Yeah.
But it was. That's the last place I would have expected to have gone today.
Well, Dana,
didn't expect my little trip down the Old Compton Street.
Well, Old Compton Street is full of them.
Oh yeah, no, and it's not like it used to be. It's so much more touristy, and it's cleaned up.
Oh, because that area,
I remember the old days.
Yeah, that area. It used to be. It used to have the peep shows. It used to have the peep shows in it, and you'd have
be standing outside.
Yeah.
And, It was
and the CD cinema. It was grubby. But. Is Madame Jojo still there, or is that gone?
No, it's gone.
They were going to. Yeah, I knew they were going to get rid of it.
I know it's gone.
Which is. Soho should be seedy, and Soho should be grubby because it always has been, and it's that whole thing of gentrification. And there were prostitutes and stuff, and there was if you stood there long enough, you get someone trying to sell you drugs. But there are certain parts of town. Towns should have, big towns, cities should have certain parts that are a bit grubby. Camden is gone now. Camden is all completely gentrified.
Oh no, it is.
It's awful.
Too touristy.
It's a tourist place. It's like Carnaby Street. Carnaby Street, of course, in the 60s was the place. You go there now, it's awful. Terrible place.
Kensington Market, again, that's not what it used to be. All these places.
Kensington Market.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, right, me and my friend Malcolm, when we were in the sixth form, we had this brilliant teacher called Mrs. Williamson who we could wrap round our finger. And we were in the sixth form, and we were she was really up for students kind of thinking outside the box and being creative outside. And we decided we were going to have a country and western night at school, right? Which never came off because we just couldn't organise it. And get this, right? She gave us the day off school in the sixth form. We're in Slough, so we could go to Kensington Market to get ideas and inspiration for a country and western night. What we did was we went and bought Legal Highs and bootlegs. That's what we did. She's the same woman, the same teacher who would let Andrew Lamb have afternoons off school, right, in the sixth form, so he could go to the Rotunda Club, which was opposite the school, and practice snooker because he told her he wanted to become a professional snooker player. Brilliant!
Sounds perfect.
Absolutely. And we went up to London and we bought Legal Highs and we bought loads of bootleg tapes and we may have even gone to see a peep show. I couldn't possibly comment. Outrageous behaviour, Dana. Outrageous.
Fun days, though.
Fun days.
Happy memories. So, yes, I've had a wonderful evening and my eyes have been open slightly because I haven't been in a shop like that for years.
Well, they have things that will open your eyes slightly as well. Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. 0344 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000. Someone tweeted to me and Paul Ross earlier in the week, or last week. I've just got my phone bill in. All of my calls to Talk Radio are free. And they are free for a lot of you. If not, they'll only cost you a few pence. Anyway, we call you back. And I keep saying this, but I know that we get new listeners or people that kind of tune in a bit during the show and they miss this. If you're looking for the peg, if you're looking for the handle, if you're waiting for the question for this hour, it's not how we do it. It's not how I do it on Late Nights with Iain Lee. I sit here and I talk about stuff that kind of just comes out or stuff that's happened at the weekend or stuff that pops in my head. And you are welcome to call in at any point about any of the stuff I'm talking about or about none of it. There is no theme. There is no question per hour. There's no topic. No rules. The only rules are the legal ones. You can't swear and you can't be libelous. That's fine. I've got a dumb button, so that's covered. I can cover that. But you can't call in about Brexit or Trump unless you think you have something completely unique to say that's not been said on a phone-in radio show about Trump or Brexit before. And you won't. Because it's all been said before, guys. It's all been said. There's nothing new. And we have one guy, a gentleman called Barry, not the good Barry, another Barry, who tried to come up with something original about Trump and failed miserably. So that's the only rule. With that in mind, 0344 499 1000. Katia.
Hello.
Hey up.
Are you duck?
My buck?
Duck. That's what they say here.
Duck goose?
Victor. Yeah. Hiya.
Hiya. What did they say?
Hiya, duck. Ducky.
Hiya, ducky. I've literally never heard anyone say, hiya, ducky.
No, you did the ducky. Hiya, duck. Chook.
What's up? That's how they say, hiya, duck, chook.
Yeah.
Hiya, duck, chook. Are you in Chinatown?
Yeah.
Why? Here's a question, right?
Ooh. Yes.
Here's a question. Why in every town is there a Chinatown? What is it with the Chinese?
I don't think there's one in Grantham.
Yes, there
is. It's not a town, is it?
Well, there will be then. There'll be a Chinatown. And I'm glad there is. It's not, I'm glad there is because I love Chinese. I love the Chinese food. I love walking down the Chinatown. I love all the horrible, waxy looking ducks they've got stuck in their windows. And I love all of that stuff, right? But why? Why is it that the Chinese, I mean, obviously we feel we congregate with people who are similar. I understand that. But then, they take over bits of the town. I wonder why that is. And yet, if it was to be, instead of Chinatown they had Romania Town or Polish Town, they'd get bricks through the windows. Because it's the Chinese. Maybe it's they're scared of the kung fu. Yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Because of the food, probably.
Yeah, but then how many Chinese restaurants can one man eat in on his own? The answer is many.
Yeah.
Many Chinese restaurants.
Good question.
Well, many, Confucius, he say, many Chinese restaurants for many men.
Right, well, that's the thing with Trump and Brexit has driven me to become a pervert now, I think, probably. Because I'm so tired of it all. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't listened to speech radio at all. No more James O'Brien. I can't believe I'm not listening to him anymore.
Well done. The beginning of the cure has started, Katia.
No.
The cure has started.
It's torture. I love him, but I really can't.
He was talking about his semen today. That's true. He was talking about his semen today. Yeah. So
Oh.
yeah. So you missed out on the juicy story there.
I did. Yes. But I thought, I just
It's
am
boring, isn't
living.
it? It's all boring. This is the whole Trump Brexit thing is boring. It's wearing off a bit now, but no, the Brexit thing keeps. Hey, there's a brilliant. Where have I got this from? Oh, it's in the Sun. Let me find the Sun. Hang on a second. There's a brilliant picture. Theresa May has come out and she said, "Don't worry about Brexit, guys. I've got it covered. God is going to be my guide." Oh, jeez. Oh, man. So honestly, she's come out and said, "Yeah, my strong Christian beliefs will help us in Brexit." All right, Theresa, we're being led by a fairy story. We're going to exit Europe because of a fairy story. Anyway, she's in the. Wonder where is it in this interview? She talks about chillaxing. What was that?
That's my chair.
All right, that's what they all say.
Another one.
She doesn't say. I can't find it. Anyway, so there's a picture of her relaxing in her flat, and she's just one of us, guys. Theresa May is just one of us. She's just wearing a nice comfy jumper, some pumps, some leather trousers. She's just one of us, yeah? The nice comfy jumper costs £495. She's just one of us. We're all in this together. The pumps trainers, they're £295. We're all in this together, Katia.
Wow.
The leather trousers.
Leather trousers?
Leather,
Not wearing
brown.
Leather trousers.
She is. I swear to God, brown leather flares. Guess how much?
720.
Miles off. £1,000. £995. She's one of us. She's just wearing trousers that cost £1,000. Just like we all do when we're at home. Her entire outfit, we don't even know what underwear she's wearing. Victoria's Secrets, anyone? Her whole outfit that we can see costs just shy of 17. No, it's more than that. It's £1,800, £1,800. She's just one of us.
Yes.
She's just one of us. Unbelievable. And she looks awful. She looks like a man. And she does. She looks terrible.
Oh.
She looks absolutely terrible. She's friendly and she's cuddly and she's warm. She's one of us. We're all in this together. Brexit's not going to affect her. Her trousers cost £1,000. £1,000 for a pair of strides, Katia. I can't believe it. Unbelievable. £1,000. Leather, it says here that they've broken it down. What the choices mean. Leather asserts fashion prowess, but in brown instead of black to avoid suggesting sex appeal. Don't worry, it doesn't matter what trousers she could be wearing crotchless PVC trousers. It would not assert sex appeal to me.
You're off on a rant, are you?
Katia, we'll find out why you've called in after this.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000. Katia, did we get to the point of your call? The meat and two veg, so to speak?
Sort of. Not yet, no.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then no.
No. What was the sentence first that I wanted to say? Can't remember now. I had it all in my head. It's all gone. Yes, I know. Okay, I'm making another documentary.
Okay.
Yes, it's probably going to take me a long time. There's a lot of work.
What's it? What is it? A making of your last documentary?
No. Yes, right. It's about beards. I'm going to go to beard conventions, and if you know someone that does something really special with their beards, can you forward them on to me?
No.
Why?
Oh, I don't know any. What do you mean? Someone who does something really special with their beards?
Yeah.
No. What does that mean?
Like a painting. There's a guy who paints with his beard. I'm tracking him down. So something like that.
Wow, it does sound actually brilliant.
Yeah.
But I don't know anyone who does anything weird with their. Hang on a minute, Craig, have you got a beard?
No, I do not.
So he does. No, he does not. If you had a beard, would you do anything weird with it?
Probably rub my
steady
finger into it.
Steady. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Okay, Katia, we'll put out the word that you're looking for people who use their beards for something other than beards.
Yeah, with that, or if they are on they call that a beard journey.
Huh?
If you want to grow it really long and etc., then these people are called beard journeys people, something like that. So if you are, please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Katia. Craig.
Hello, Iain.
Hello, Craig.
Well, I wanted to just talk about swear words, but firstly, someone's nicked your idea. You know, when you said about putting cold water in a pan to defrost stuff?
Well, for those who don't, right, if you want meat, you want to defrost it, you get the meat, you put it on a metal baking tray, cold, you get room temperature water, or is it cold water? I can't remember, in a pan, then you put the pan on top of the meat, you don't put the meat in the water, and that will defrost the meat in minutes.
I was watching telly today, Thor board.
Huh?
You can buy a Thor board.
Thor, what, like the god Thor?
THAW.
A Thor board?
Yeah.
What? Well, but why? How much does that cost?
I didn't see the price, but it was one of those where you used to be able to buy in Woolworths and all that type of shop.
But, like Robert Dias and thing?
Yeah, one of those in all good weird bookshops. But yeah, so they're selling a Thor board. You missed out on that one.
Well, no, because I like to give out. Anyway, I just googled it. It's what is known as, and it's a phrase I dislike. A life hack. It's a life. You're hacking life. Like you're hacking a computer game. You're hacking life.
Isn't it?
Hey, I saw a film today.
Oh, good. I watch cowboy films all day today.
I don't like cowboy films.
I love them.
I've never gone. I watched this film called Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, with the...
sexy robots.
Her identity.
Huh?
She's a trickster, isn't she?
I mean, all of those robots have got to be some of the sexiest robots I've ever seen in my life.
With no hair and a strange head, and still attractive.
Yeah. It was, for those who've not seen it, it's a little bit slow, and in some places I'm going to say it boring.
Yeah.
But it's good with, I would say, it's kind of a twist. It's a twist. It's not the strongest it's not the strongest twist in the world, but it was quite a nice twist.
Artificial intelligence is the new zombies, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, with that Westworld.
Oh, I refuse to watch that.
Oh, that's quite handy. It's all right.
It'll end disappointingly.
Yeah, you didn't like the end of Lost, did you?
No, of course not, because it was rubbish. The end of Lost, right? It turns out, right, the whole entire last series of Lost, they're in purgatory, and they've probably been there for about 500 years. Then they go to a church where the stained glass windows have got all the signs of all the religions, and they're waiting for Jack to realise he's dead. Then he realises he's dead, and then they open a door and they go off to heaven.
But
rubbish!
What could they have done? There's nothing really that works.
No, there is. And there is, because shortly after Lost finished, I had to have an operation on my anus. And they gave me codidromol, I think, and tramadol. Tramadol is a heroin substitute. It's a very, very strong painkiller. And I would, every time because you've got a pulse in your anus, and every time my pulse went, my anus would hurt.
You have?
So I got, I was popping tramadol like nobody's business. And I dreamed a much better ending to Lost than the one they came up with. Would you like to hear it?
Of course.
Thank you. So, right. So, so they're on the island and they get off the island and they have to go back in time. There's all that time travel and stuff, right?
I never watched it, but carry on.
Hang on a minute. You never watched it?
I watched the last episode. I do that with shows I don't watch.
You utter... Right, anyway. So, what happens is they go back in time, and they end up going back in time so far that it turns out it's them that's made them go to the island. So they're kind of in an internal time loop.
Right.
Where it was always them, like back in the 50s, that made them go to the island. And so then they like die.
For the purpose of?
Well, I was high. I was very, very high on a powerful narcotic, legal.
Yeah.
And I did not come up with... It wasn't completely finessed, but I remember dreaming it and thinking, oh, this is brilliant. This is much better than the proper ending. And basically, so they go back into, like, the 50s. They'd set everything up so they ended up on the island. Then they'd die. Then they'd be born and they'd have their lives. And they'd end up on the island. And they'd have to go back in time to the 50s. And they would... Forever. Infinity.
Oh, and you could have a room for the writers to work out the rest.
No, that's pretty much it. It's better than their rubbish ending that they had.
All right, good.
Anyway, what have you got for us?
Swearing, yeah? I won't use any words, but swearing. Yeah. Do you know, like, because I'd be looking at America and Britain, the T word in America, they pronounce twat.
Yeah, I remember. Let me take you back in time. I told you a lot about my childhood, but when I was 11 years old, just before I was in middle school, before I went to grammar school, right? And we had a thrusting young sports teacher. I think it was called Mr. Gardiner. Okay. He had a glass eye. And I was messing around in assembly, as was my wont. And I remember he grabbed me and pulled me away from my friend. And he went, "Stop being such a twat."
Yeah.
And I'd never heard that word before. And I've not really heard the word twat that often in the ensuing 33 years.
Well, now I've noticed it comes out a lot in American stuff.
It's a different word. It's a different thing. It means something. I think they both mean... Well, do they both mean...
Well, and a pregnant fish, apparently, as well, isn't it?
Well... Yeah.
And in Canada, because the F word is okay, when it's MF, they blank out the mother part.
Wow, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Well, Kath and I were sort of talking about this to a certain extent the other day when the N word, and it was in a fat burning class at the gym last week, and the N word was being played.
That's what got me thinking about
the hip hop soundtrack. I got my ends in the graveyard, my ends in the state yard. What he means, he's got dead ends and he's got ends in prison, because that's the life of an N. The song is, it's the song's portraying, and it's easy for me to say from a place of white middle class privilege, but the N word is just a word, and I know that it is weighted down on all these things, but I do think that we should be able to, in certain forums, not necessarily on the radio, but we should in certain forums be able to say that word.
Yeah.
And in fact, I remember when I started working on Big Brother, right? You get a thing called a compliance meeting. It was the strangest meeting. You get a compliance meeting, right? And it was me, Rylan, and the lady with the eyes, what's her name? Emma Willis. Emma Willis, that was it.
Yeah.
And we were in this trailer just round the back of the Big Brother set, and we had our compliance meeting, and we had a lawyer, the Channel 4 lawyer, who was from New Zealand, and this woman, I can't remember either of their names, and they talk about what you can and can't say. And that year, they had a guy from a boy band in. I can't remember who it was, but he was a white guy, but he was one of those people that associates himself with black culture. And they were saying, right, okay, so this is me doing a New Zealand accent. No, it wasn't Dappy. It might have been Dappy. It doesn't matter. I'm from New Zealand. So what might happen if Dappy comes on the show and he starts saying N this, N, you're an N, but he wasn't saying the N-word, he was saying the M-word. So Dappy could come on and he could be going, you're an N, I'm an N, we're all N's. What would you do? And I'd say, well, I'm not going to say N, am I? And this whole time we're having this free and frank discussion about N's. And it was...
The word.
And it was... We were sniggering a bit, but it was... oh, God.
I want his job.
Do you see? I've just said a word that contains that word, and I didn't mean to. It's a minefield, isn't it, Craig?
Amazing, wouldn't it?
Anyway, it's a minefield, Craig, and on that bombshell. It's funny, isn't it? I can't say the M-word, but I can say we were sniggering. Do you know what I mean? I'm sort of making light of it, but I'm just making light of the rules that we impose upon ourselves, and we tie ourselves up with. On that bombshell, let's take a break.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
A new kind of talk radio. We'll get you talking. Talk radio.
Another hour to go, dear listener. The switchboard is empty. I'm quite happy to sit here and look through the papers, and if you want to chip in at any moment, you're more than welcome. Now is an excellent time to call. 0344 499 1000. We call you back. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
It's a whole album of Japanese Beatles covers.
Hi.
Kabuto Muishigen. But it's early Japanese it's early Beatles. I'm not such a big fan of the early Beatles. I like the later Beatles. I've got an album. Where is that? I haven't a clue what it would be on. This is the problem, you see. I've got all this rubbish on here. Oh, this is a woman I met in Japan who was playing the ukulele and she was cute. Hang on. Good, isn't she? We saw when she was selling CDs from the boot of her car. But where were the Japanese? I got a whole album of Beatles. Is Japan? No, it's not. I wouldn't have a clue where to start. This is the problem. Is this it? Hang on a minute. No, it's not on this computer. I don't know, Catherine. I can't.
You've got too much stuff.
I've got a bit too much stuff on here. I'm unable to find the Japanese. What's this? Is this something? Hang on. Not a clue what that is.
No.
Not a clue.
Frenetic.
Oh, this could be it. This could be it. There we go. No, it's Knock on Wood, played on a recorder.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't got a clue, Catherine.
Do you know what you remind me of?
Yep.
My daughter, when she wants one dolly in particular, and she's lying in a bed full. But of course, the one dolly, Elizabeth, is nowhere to be seen.
Right, what song is this? There we go. Let's play Guess the Song. We'll play Guess the Song. What song is this?
Is it, I think we're alone now.
Let's continue. Ed, you're more than welcome to play. Put your headphones on. Turn your microphone
I'm
up.
waiting for the big goes bum 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 bum.
What song? Well, it's not that. What song is this? Eduardo?
I have no clue so far.
Well, you've heard.
Well, I've had a clue, but
You've heard 7 seconds of the record. Well, you would have heard 7 seconds if you weren't Facebooking someone. You've heard 4 seconds of the song. What is that noise?
What noise?
Are you dropping one?
No.
I've told him about that noise, and then he doesn't believe me. I've said, "What is that hum?" and he can't hear it.
It's like there's someone's got a vacuum cleaner on.
It's not the server next to me, is it?
Yes.
Probably.
How about serving that?
Oh.
Okay, here we go.
Oh. Is this going to be Kokomo?
No.
Oh! I know.
I know what it is. I can't think of the title of it.
Is it called Satisfaction?
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Push me, and then just touch me, so I can get more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Let me find.
I used to go dancing.
All right. We'll have
remember some of these
a little
tunes.
bit of fun. We'll have a little bit of fun. All right. Okay. What's this? What song is this? We might as well. Got no calls.
I don't know.
Okay. Ed?
No idea. No idea.
No. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Smells like Teen Spirit.
Sung by a robot. All right.
Wow. Is that one of them sex robots?
Yeah, oh, they're so good. Okay, let's try. I don't know. I've not heard this album for years. Let's try. Yeah. I don't actually. I've not even heard of the song actually, so I don't know why I'm playing this.
It's not Blue Monday.
No.
Go on.
I've not even heard. I
No.
don't think I've even heard of the song, so maybe it's not famous.
You dancing it doesn't make any difference. And those noises.
That's it.
Don't be so quick to walk away. Dance with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. Well done. It's Robot Timberlake. Okay, let's try this one. This is a famous one.
Oh, I've got this.
What is it?
Teenage Kicks.
Okay, yeah, absolutely fine.
Is that
Right.
from
No.
Jazz and 80s?
Oh, well, that's okay. That's
Have you
obvious.
got Jazz and 80s?
No, I haven't got Jazz and 80s.
Because I got that from an Italian restaurant in Italy. I got a bit drunk and suddenly I could speak Italian and asked them what their record was called and they responded.
Well done.
How about...
Only when I'm drunk, though.
How about... Oh, we know that one. How about... Oh, this might be good. Okay. Yeah, okay. No, that's rubbish. What's this? No, that's rubbish. Oh.
I Will Survive.
Yeah. Why is this on here?
ले लो दिल मेरा ले लो मैं लाई हूँ नजराना ये प्यार का ठुकराओ ना प्यारे तुम्हें मेरी कसम है सनम सुनो मेरा कहा ले लो दिल मेरा ले लो मैं लाई हूँ नजराना ये प्यार का ठुकराओ ना प्यारे तुम्हें मेरी कसम है सनम सुनो मेरा कहा मुझको अपना.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I still can't find the Japanese Beatles.
Doesn't matter, that made up for it.
No, it did, made up for it, didn't
lovely,
it?
yeah.
The great... And it stopped.
This is my...
Yeah, I think it's that computer that's sitting next to me.
I think it might be
Great Gran Florence Jenkins, the oldest woman in Wales, has died aged 110.
Who's the second oldest and where was she?
Exactly. This is the thing. Whenever the oldest person in the world dies, immediately find out where the second and the third oldest person was. And also, I suspect the third oldest, because the second oldest must then be bricking themselves.
It's like the ancient kings.
Yep.
Always look to the brother.
Yep.
Then look to the bastard brother.
All right, mate, watch your language. We're not James Wales.
They always done it.
It's not the James Wales show. James Wales a thing again.
I know.
Isn't it? Retro is in. Bless him. He's getting on a bit. He struggles to hear what's being said. So if you phone up, you've got to speak nice and clearly and loudly to him.
And just treat him like he's an ordinary person.
Just treat him like an ordinary person. It would not be appropriate for me to take pleasure from this headline.
But?
Farage, I fear for my life. I mean, we are better than that. We are better than that. Dear listener, we will not be taking solace in that fact and the fact that he might move to America and become, what's that, an immigrant? No, not nice.
Him and his German wife.
Him and his German wife.
Do you believe that he feels that way, really? I mean, who's going to bother if he walks down the street? Politicians walk around all the time.
Well, he says he struggles to go to the pub and buy snouts, so...
He's the ideal person for going down the pub and buying snouts. The pubs are full of people like
Who
Farage.
was that person that called, Ed, and why are they not talking?
Ghost caller. So they called up and I could hear you guys.
Yeah.
And then I kept saying hello. Bottler. Called them back. Didn't pick up.
Unbelievable. Bottler. Absolute. But if they call again, Ed, you give me the steely glare.
Will do.
I will touch that screen. We'll get them straight on air. Bishy bashy boshy.
Should I just name them Bottler in the system now?
Yeah, Bottler. Okay, you Bottler. I'm loath to... Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll take a break and then we'll talk about hybrids.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Evening, dear listeners. This is Iain Lee, Talk Radio. Catherine is with me in the studio.
Yes.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Now, last week we were talking about a guest that Howard Hughes had on his The Unexplained. It was a counsellor.
An ex-counsellor.
Ex-counsellor. Who was married to an Earth woman, but he'd had sex with an alien woman.
Repeatedly.
And they had children?
Yes.
Okay. And
he met up with her several times a year on his wife's say-so.
Well, and it really got me thinking a lot this weekend about sex with aliens, alien children and stuff. And so I was just, Googling it, looking it up.
Oh.
On PornTube and things like that. And there's not a lot of it on those websites. There's not a lot of it. Hamster and all. There's not a lot. But
it's just people dressed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the most part.
It's niche. But then I came across this story from the Mail from January of this year. The Mirror, sorry. From January of this year. Women had sex with aliens and gave birth to hybrid babies, and so might you.
Oh.
The mums claim to have given birth to half-alien children who live with their fathers on giant spaceships and claim other women simply don't realise it. Now, what grabbed me about this story, because I'm flesh and blood. Before everything else, I'm flesh and blood, is that the two women in the story, they don't look nuts. They look like hot, young American women. They don't look like, the kind that live at home with 19 cats. And if you have got 19 cats, then you are weird. I'm sorry. They are attractive young women. And that kind of makes it, for me, it's a bit more, oh, gosh, that's odd. If it was a lonely,
Because the thing that springs to mind when you hear a story, someone claiming to be in a relationship with an alien and having their child, is someone wants to be special here, don't they?
Yeah,
that's what you think. But they're already special because they're attractive. So why would they want to claim that?
A group of women are claiming they have children which were fathered by aliens who live with their dads on giant spaceships and describe their sexual encounters with them as the best they've ever had. The hybrid baby community, Google it, it's on Facebook.
It's real.
It's real. Believe aliens have been harvesting their DNA to create children that combine the best of both human and alien characteristics over a period of several years.
Hence the attractive nature of these women.
Yeah. According to two women who claim to have mothered children with aliens...
I'm surprised they've not harvested mine.
The conceptions, well, they've got, say, attractive young women.
Oh.
Two boxes you don't tick.
All right.
The conceptions happen either through artificial insemination or real sexual encounters. Have that. Wah. Former marketing executive, and here's where it gets even weirder, Bridget Nielsen.
Not that one.
No, because her name is Brigitte.
Also, she would crush an alien.
Yeah. And video game designer Aluna Verse.
Not her real name.
Claim that between them they've had 13 children with aliens. Now, just stop there.
Her name's Sarah Booty.
Sarah Booty?
Mm-hmm. I've looked her up.
That is, that's an incredible thing. They've had 13 kids between them with aliens. Incredible.
Is the word, yeah.
And they're on Facebook. They have websites. There is a community of these people. And they say they believe it. They say...
They've got some nice drawings of their children.
Yeah. Oh, is that the children?
Yeah.
Indeed, Bridget, 27, said the sex was the best ever and that thousands of women around the world are missing out on such experiences because they have actually had hybrid children with aliens but don't realise it. You would know...
If the sex was that good, you'd remember, surely.
Well, she refutes claims pointing to a lack of evidence, saying that extraterrestrial creatures only take women who, on some level, want to be taken.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's drawings. She doesn't actually have photographs of the babies. And they do look like aliens. The big eyes, the strange heads. They look like aliens. You would know if that came out from between your legs, you go, flipping out, I've had sex with an alien. It's truth. And your husband would be like, what? Wait, hang on a minute. It's bad enough if they've got ginger hair and nobody has ginger hair. It can happen spontaneously, but there's always an element of, the milkman. But if it comes out looking like an alien...
Yeah, my sister's got 2 ginger babies.
Oh, I know. And I'm not one of those people. I'm not, Hopkins. I think ginger hair is absolutely beautiful.
They are beautiful, but it's a recessive gene.
Exactly. So it can be like generations back that, a great uncle or something. But there's always that, the milkman. There's always that. You would know if that came out from betwixt your legs... You'd be like, there's no way you could say, it's a recessive gene.
No, and you couldn't pass that off as...
No.
They've got black eyes, apparently. Totally black.
Although she lives with her father in the USA in Sedona, Arizona, she claims to have had regular contact with aliens and now has 10 hybrid children, 4 boys.
My dad would have shot him.
Yeah, 6 girls. She said, they're not just taking our children, they are creating a hybrid race to better humanity. The mums have produced drawings of what their hybrid children look like, and while some have human characteristics, most display reptilian features. So you would know, you would see that in the delivery room, and you'd have to think quick if you were going to pass it off as your husband's. You have aliens, alien sex. Sorry, it doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Doesn't really, does it? You could say you were doing the artificial insemination one, not the actual.
This is no. This is why they want to do it. Listen to this filth, absolute filth. Recalling a sexual encounter with an alien on board a spaceship.
Of course.
Bridget said it was
back to mine.
It was great. It was an incredible, super primal, super raw, super. Listen to this. It was an incredible, super primal, super raw, super primal sexual experience. All right, no.
2 primals.
There was a real freedom, and we were really going for it.
Oh.
It was the best sex I ever had. Well, if she loves it so much, why don't she naff off to the moon then?
He doesn't want her full time, does he?
Uranus? We don't know where they're from. Speaking about her own conception, mum of 3 alien children, Aluna, 23, from Los Angeles, added,
Sarah.
I was in a classroom setting with other humans. All of a sudden, I'm sat next to this green reptilian creature, and immediately I'm so sexually turned on looking at this being. I have a similar effect on ladies.
What, you look like a lizard?
On nut jobs. I was very surprised. I shouldn't say that. We're trying to get her on the show. I was very surprised. We were making love in this classroom in front of everyone. Everyone turned their attention to us. Well, you would.
You'd notice, wouldn't you? Put you off.
She continued...
How are you going to get your sums done?
It sounds crazy, and people have asked if I'm off my meds, but this is really happening. Aluna said, here we go. Sarah. She was taken on board the ship in a dream state. Mm-hmm. They had to hypnotise her.
She dreamt it.
And described the sex she'd had as one of her most vivid memories.
Dreams.
Some of the women in the hybrid baby community, it's on Facebook, guys, go and have a look. 0344 499 1000, which have members aged from 19 to some in their 60s, claim to have more than 10 children with aliens. However, they never meet their children on Earth. Yeah. And Bridget said, there is a sadness because you can't be with them.
That is one step on from, he's older, you don't know him, he goes to a different school.
What was I watching the other day and they did that? What was I watching? It was
a boyfriend. You don't know him.
Yeah, I did that. My girlfriend was in Australia. You won't have met her. She's in Australia.
I did a boyfriend in Italy.
What was I watching? And they, I was watching It wasn't Rick and Morty, was it? I don't know. Anyway,
it's a standard.
They did that.
It's a standard.
We believe there may be hundreds of thousands of women across the world who have hybrid babies. They just don't know about them. So how do they not know about them? Is it not a vaginal birth then?
Maybe it just pops out your ear or something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it might do.
You're assuming.
Maybe they. Maybe the alien ejaculates in your ear or up your nostril.
Maybe there's no ejaculation.
Uranus. We don't know what planet they're from, and it comes out from there when you're asleep.
It might just be holding hands, like with my mum and dad.
Bridget because the women have chosen to be open about their encounters with aliens, most of them, they've struggled in the real world. Well, most of them aren't in the real world. Hang on a second. Yes, line 2.
Hello, Ian. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Who's this?
This is Bottler.
Hello, Bottler.
Hello, Bottler. I called a minute ago, but kind of, I honestly, I bottled it.
You bottled it. Oh, that's fine. That's fine to bottle it.
I bottled it. But I've thought about it, and I've kind of the alien story you're going on about is intriguing.
Yeah. Have you ever had sex with an alien?
No, but I'm starting to think, what if one of these women want maintenance?
Well, exactly. I mean,
how does the CSA deal with that?
Space credits. They'd have to pay in space credits.
Space credits.
Why, can I ask you one question which you don't have to answer?
Go on.
Why did you bottle it?
I don't know. I've spoken to you before, like, quite a few times.
Yeah,
but,
I recognise your voice. As far as not criticism at all, you know, it just, it's interesting you phoned up and Ed phoned you back and you decided you didn't want to do it. And, you know, bravo for calling back in and owning it. I was just curious, because I do recognise your voice, and I know we've spoken before, and I just wondered if there was something that had caused you to bottle it. But, you know, it's all groovy, man.
Yeah. There's, you know, I don't know. I'm driving as well, so it's kind of, I know when you're on hands-free and stuff, it can sometimes be a bit crap, so.
Yeah.
Never mind. So you remember my voice?
I do remember your voice.
Crappy, horrible.
I can't remember what we've spoken about, though, or when we spoke, but I do recognise your voice, yeah.
Yeah, I called you once when you did the little pre-things before you came on air with Talk.
Oh.
And I think I called you once before. But yeah, I can't remember what we spoke about.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not, those calls aren't important. It's this call that's important. And this call won't be important in 2 minutes' time either. So none of it's important.
No, none of this matters.
None of this matters, man. How's life going for you at the moment?
It's okay. You know, could be better, but okay.
Yeah. Where are you driving to?
I'm just back on the M4 now, thanks to the fact of it being shut, and I had to go through some other place. I get massive feedback on this line. All I can hear is my horrible.
If I do this, sometimes if I switch you to, is that better? Is that any better?
Testing. That's yeah.
If I swatch the lines, I'll put you onto line 2 instead. Sometimes that works a little bit better. I don't know why. It's a little glitch in the system. Which part of the M4 is closed? Because I need to go. I go home on the M4.
Did you know I was thinking of you when I was bombing down the M4, and it was saying it was shut, and I think you get off near Slough or something.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. You're all right.
Okay, they're doing for the last 4 or 5 months. They've been doing roadworks. It's a bit boring, guys, but excuse me, it's important to me. Doing roadworks, and it's always a bit of a punt as to whether the M4 is going to be open or my junction is going to be open, because sometimes they close it.
Yeah, and especially when you want to go home and stuff. And
yeah, I know when it's late and you've got to be up in the morning, and literally every minute counts. And you've got to go up to next junction and come back. It's annoying. Anyway, at least we haven't got. It could be worse. We could have alien babies that we're not allowed to see.
Well, it's just crazy. I mean, imagine trying to claim travel allowance on senior kids with,
The thing about this is, right, is me and Kath spent quite a bit of... I was looking at it this weekend, and Kath was looking at it tonight. These people, they seem to be genuine. I mean, there's a community of them. Well, do they live together, Kath?
Yeah,
is that what you were saying?
I think so. I looked them up, and they're on a couple of websites, and on one of them, they live as a community.
Right.
And it's a real kind of...
But that must be...
I want to say commune.
Well, you said cult when we looked at it.
Well...
But that must be...
There's an older bearded fella and a load of young women. What does that look like to you?
But that must be quite supportive. Let's just assume that what they're saying is true, right? Yeah. You've got 10 kids.
They're in America, right?
Yeah. In Arizona.
How did you guess?
Oh. America in Arizona. There's not a lot else to do in Arizona, is there?
But imagine they're telling the truth for a moment, okay? You've got 10 kids, and you can't see them because they're not even on this. They're not in a different part of the country. It's not like they've moved to Scotland. It's not like they've moved to New Zealand. They're actually on in space, and you can't see them, and you haven't got any photos of them. That would be devastating. How could you live with that?
Apparently the sex is worth
How could you
it.
get to having 10?
Some of them, well, you do it a lot. I don't know. Some of them have had 10 children.
They must love it.
Are they twins or what is the word for, like, if you had 10 kids and they were all born at the, like you get
dectuplets. Would it be dectuplets?
I guess
it'd be dectuplets.
Too many.
Dectuplets.
Yeah, if it was 12, it'd be
I'd have
dodecutuplets.
10 kids just to have dectuplets.
you have them at the same time. That's the thing.
That'd have to be a C-section, wouldn't it?
Imagine opening that up.
Anton
dectuplets. That'll do it. Well, listen, I'm glad you called back. I appreciate it. I know it's a really weird, silly, uncomfortable thing to do, but you've contributed greatly, so thank you.
That's right, no worries. I feel it could have been better, but, I've tried my best, and my best is all I can do.
Exactly, it was spot on. You have a safe journey. Thank you, man. Carl, we'll come to you in a second. 0344 499 1000. We'll have more of these horny space women in a minute.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over.
Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
David makes a good point. Interplanetary benefits scrounging scumbags.
Illegal aliens.
Illegal aliens. Oh, dearie.
Maybe that's what the Carpenters were signalling for.
Yep. It could be.
World Contact Day.
Contact this.
Repeatedly.
Where did we get to? Bridget has failed to tie down a relationship, and her friends told her that coming clean would ruin her credibility for a future career in advertising and public relations. Her own mother even rejects her story, but Bridget said, "I don't really have normal relationships anymore. This has become my normal. I know people who are married or have boyfriends, and when they tell them, it goes down badly." The group believes aliens take people from the same family and that they are most interested in breeding with hot younger women.
You've added some bits in there, haven't you?
I put hot, but the rest of it was there. Bridget, who says she lost one alien child to devastating circumstances when it didn't form properly, said aliens take women's eggs mainly on board their spaceships, but it can happen on Earth. She said...
Shh, don't, because if we get her on, I've put in the thing, there will be no mockery.
Okay, fine. Well, if we put her in, one of the questions will be, tell me about the time you saw that ship in the sky and your ovaries ached. She said once she saw a ship in the sky and moments later her ovaries ached. For women who refuse to accept...
I felt mine pop before.
Yeah. They may have alien children. Bridget said there are certain things they can look for in their lives that might suggest otherwise. So this is how you tell if you've got an alien hybrid baby.
Okay.
She says there are signs that you can look for, such as recurring dreams about doctors' offices or classrooms, missing times, or false pregnancies.
Whoa.
These could mean you have hybrid children. I dream a lot about classrooms.
Yeah.
A lot. The majority of my dreams are set in the classroom.
I had a very vivid dream about Kate Bush this weekend.
I'd like to see drawings. People say we are crazy, but we're not. This is really happening to us. Let's have a look at some of the comments.
I was in a Kate Bush tribute band, the three of us, 3 phases of Bush. I think we're 3 shades of Bush.
So we stopped talking about Bush. You stop talking about Bush.
I remembered all the words and I was quite a good singer. I was Babushka. What on earth had I been eating?
What are you talking about? Are you still talking? I'm just trying to find something in here. So here's one of the comments.
Go on.
I believe in aliens, but I'm not sure about these women in this group. I've just read it over and over, and pardon my ignorance or anything. Have I missed something? But I don't believe these women. I understand how dreams work, and I've read books on the Pleiadians, and how out-of-body experiences or dream states can make you... Oh, jeez, I'm reading the comments on a story about women who've had space babies. I believe in aliens, I believe in hybrids, but I don't believe these women.
Wow.
Here we go. It's posted by someone called the Theologians of Orion. They were very brave to come forward to share their stories because they want to wake the people up to what is going on in this world. Most people are unaware of what this world really is. Uniquely me. As odd as it may sound, I believe it. We have no clue of what's out there and what may be taking place. Since it's out of the norm and you see it in movies and television shows, it can't be real. People are very close-minded and live inside of a box. You never know, so don't doubt. Oh, God. Oh. Anti-gravity crafts are here in our skies for decades. Sightings have increased, so why now are the media taking an interest without the ridicule? Who gave them the permission to speak on this subject, and why? Is disclosure coming? Have we had contact? I tell you we need to get on this. Not Stephen Murdoch, he's the computer expert. I used to have a computer...
Babcock?
No, it's a sci-fi expert. What was his name? Joe Lavens. Joe Lavens is an alien expert. He's brilliant. He will blow your mind. He will absolutely blow your mind with the stuff he knows about aliens. I'll see if he's in America. So I'll see if he's a professor. I'll see if he's around this week. So we can get Joe Lavens on to talk about
sounds good.
Hybrid babies. Kyle, I'll come to you in a minute. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Hey up, Kyle.
Evening, you all right?
Evening, yeah. I'm tired. My body is aching because I've been pumping off furiously, and I'm peckish, so I might get a sandwich on the way home, and that'll be it. No cookies, no chocolate, no chocolata, not kinda chocolata. Oh, Ed, come on, focus. Come on, Ed. Come on.
I want to see the Ev.
Actually, no, turn our mic off. We don't. Hey, no, let's. Kyle.
Yes.
What?
On your way home, why don't you get yourself a Ginster's peppered steak slice?
A what?
A Ginster's.
Thank you. It's a hard G on Ginster's. It's not.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a hard G. It's Ginster's.
How do you know?
Because I know a lot of things. How do I know?
How do you know?
How do you know that this is the colour red? You just know it. I know Ginster's is Ginster's.
Well, why is it Gillingham?
Hang on a second. Well, there's not. There's also a Gillingham.
I know. So which one's which, and how do you know?
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Ginster's or Ginster's?
It's Ginster's, obviously.
Obviously. You see, it's a man thing. It's a man thing.
I've eaten them. Just don't know how to say it clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you look like an idiot when you go and get them in the petrol station. Then
I don't ask for them. You just pick them up.
I haven't had a Ginster's heated up for a long, long time, but that is
They
something.
are dirty, but good, aren't
They're
they?
good. They're very, very.
But anyway,
good.
you're not having that because that's not right.
I'm having a cheeky sandwich at the end. I've got to fill up petrol as well, so you know what? So I've got to stop off. Anyway, Kyle, what was what do you want, Kyle?
Well, a couple of bits, really.
Yeah.
The alien space baby thing,
yeah,
which sounds like a Howard topic. How do these women know these are real aliens? It could just be me painting myself green and waving a cucumber around. They don't know.
Where would you put the cucumber?
Well, I don't want to go
there. I suppose it could be.
Don't really matter. They're taking the kids off your hands. Don't ask any questions.
Uranus, we don't know where they're from. Do you get it?
Yeah, do you mean like...
Hey, come on, don't sully this relationship with filth. We're going to try and get the hybrid women on the show to talk about it, and we'll also try and get Professor Joe Lavens on as well, who's an expert on this.
I've also approached a guy who is a cryptozoologist.
Now that means Sasquatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch and the Nessie.
Yep.
But in this instance, I want to talk about the Mothman.
Oh, Mothra.
Well, I think it might be, yeah. Of New Pleasance, it's called.
Yeah. Well, you've heard of... Well, we've talked before about moths screaming. Imagine a Mothman screaming. That would be awful. That would be awful.
It's got glowing red eyes as well.
Yep.
You'd know about it.
Yeah.
But no, the other thing I was going to say, apart from me and Manny both managed to make an appearance on Howard Hughes last night.
Oh, I fell asleep. Listen, what was he starting to? What was the beginning of Howard's show last night?
Oh well, I missed the first half hour. I was watching Celeb. Sorry. But,
Jonathan, did you listen to Howard Hughes last night?
No, I've never listened to it.
What?
It sounds too good to be true.
It is. It is too good. It's brilliant, Howard Show. Sunday night, 10 o'clock. Absolutely brilliant.
Why is it so good?
Because it's 3 hours of bullshit.
It is 3 hours of basically fruitcakes and liars.
Charlatans.
Talking nonsense.
Yeah. And swearing it's true.
It's like, it's swearing it's true. It's absolutely brilliant. It's exactly what Sunday night radio should be.
Well, last night the bloke I heard and the bloke me and Manny rang in about was like it was a really odd fellow. It was about the cryogenic thing, the freezing of the bodies.
Oh yeah.
And he sounded exactly like Stephen Murdoch, and that's what I couldn't put out of my head. But he was such a chancer.
Well, you say he was a chancer, Kyle. Have you researched cryogenics? I don't think so, mate.
Well, I sat in the freezer once for half an hour, see what happened.
I used to work at B-Jams, and my job on a Saturday evening at 5:30 was I had to go into the walk-in freezer, shut the door, and count everything.
Oh.
Do a stock check every Saturday night. Oh, it was awful. And you get like a big coat, but they were all torn, and obviously they only came down to your knees, and you got these thick gloves, but you couldn't write with the thick gloves on, so you had to take the right glove off to write on a bit of card. You count the boxes of chips, 6 boxes of oven chips.
Oh, I'd just
There's
make it up.
No, you couldn't, though, because it was the whole of the next week was dependent on you doing a proper stock check, and you could be in there for about 40 minutes, honestly. And I was doing that at 15, 16. Which is why I'm such a hard worker now, because I've struggled, I've suffered. I am a hard worker. It was absolute torture. Probably illegal to send a 15-year-old in there, but, it's what we did. It's what we did. I wanted to buy booze money, and I wanted booze money, and I earned it. I earned it the hard way. And then sometimes, sometimes what we do is, for a bit of sport, we would get someone, could be me, could be someone else, happened to all of us. We'd take off their coat, we'd take off their gloves, so they just had like the blue boiler suit, like quick fit suit, and we'd throw them in there, and we'd bury them under boxes of chips, and then we'd lock the door. Lock the door.
What? That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, it was absolutely the most horrendous thing that could possibly have happened to the person it was happening to everyone else.
Hilarious.
Classic. But what we would do sometimes is we'd all say, right, we're going to get Iain, and we're get him in. And then we go in there, and then they'd all turn on me, and they'd get me, and that was horrible. Yeah. And they'd strip me and throw you in there. It's just classic bounce, guys.
I used to get locked in the shoe cupboard when I worked in it's not as bad as a freezer, admittedly. You win on that one.
Yep.
But you know what I'm like for being scared?
Yeah.
There were holes in the walls. My colleagues used to thrust their
glory holes.
They were big enough to get your head through, and my colleagues used to thrust their faces through.
You're lucky it's just it was those heads they put through.
They're all women.
Well, still, we've heard about Kyle's cucumber. Thanks. Anything else, Kyle?
Yeah, well, the other quick thing, when you were talking, you probably got it knowing you, but when you were playing the cover songs before, I think I was trying to narrow it down, but my absolute favourite is that Tijuana Brass album where it plays Eleanor Rigby, A Haunting Tale of Loneliness.
I've got it on. I've got all those on vinyl, and do you know I was looking at because I want to get rid of stuff. I was looking at all my vinyl yesterday. I thought,
don't you dare.
No, I thought because there's a lot, and a lot of it is like the Tijuana Brass album stuff, which was great when I was at the Three Counties in WN because we had a record player, and so we'd bring all this stuff in and we'd get it out and we'd use it as a bed and stuff. Here we haven't got a record player. I could bring in my little record player and plug it in through that, but it just becomes. In fact, I will do that one night.
Do it. And
maybe,
let me bring my records in too.
Maybe on Friday. Well, no, because we're not going to play records.
Oh.
But it'll be like beds and stuff. Just
well,
the
minute, Iain, that you do this, you will instantly regret it and go and buy it back. I've done it.
Well, yeah, I know, but I've just got so much stuff, Kyle, and I don't want to get all kind of spiritual on your ass in the last 6 minutes of the show. You're being very quiet, Jonathan. You taking notes?
Yeah, just being patient.
Oh.
But we're going to run out of time, aren't we?
Well, that's up to you.
Jump in.
Have you got a cold?
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. Vinyl doesn't take up that much room, though. You are going to regret it if you get rid of it.
Well, vinyl. Well, the thing here's the thing. I came home the other day, and I've got vinyl in my bedroom and vinyl in the spare room, and I've got that big, those vinyl bags that we've got, and I came in, and in the spare room, the bag full of vinyl. It's not the first time this has happened. I've been put next to the radiator, and so I then spent 10 minutes. I then spent 10 minutes getting out and going, Is that one? No, is that one? And I think it's all right because the bag's quite thick. But flipping heck, I mean, but I've got. Here's the thing, right? What would happen? This is a genuine question, right? What would happen if I got rid of everything? What would
be bored?
Sorry.
You'd be really bored.
Why would I be bored? Because most of this stuff I don't touch anyway. I mean, it's not like I'm at home spinning records or playing CDs. I've got like 500 CDs and I don't know 150 records. And what if I got rid of all of it? What would happen? What would actually happen? Nothing. Nothing would happen. I would miss it. But
there was something you got rid of a while ago, and you really regretted it, and you really wanted to get back with a guitar. Or something.
It was my cherry. Still waiting, guys. It was a guitar, but I regretted it because I got hardly any money for it, and it cost me a lot. But I don't miss my Ace Frehley Sunbird. I don't really miss because I never played it. I always let my mate Spencer play it. So if I got rid of all my records and all my CDs and all my guitars and all of these things, what would happen?
Spencer would miss them.
Spencer would miss them, yeah. Well, Spencer's got his own nice guitar now, so he doesn't need it. Honestly, it's a thing I'm really, I'm not, that close to doing it, but it is a point that keeps popping up in my head. And it's like this Christmas, I'm going to say to everyone, I don't want anything for Christmas. And I ordered a book today on Amazon because it was £3. And then I got the email through saying we're sending it out. I was thinking, why did I do that? I've got enough books.
I read something really interesting about that acquisition thing because I've got a bit of a problem with buying clothes. And someone wrote a really interesting piece. I can't remember where it was. But you're buying it for the future you. It's your way of kind of comforting yourself by saying, in the future, I will live this lifestyle, I will do this thing, I will read this book. It's a comforting thing.
And I've got clothes that I've never worn. I've got this really nice shirt, but it's white.
Yeah.
And it's got like sort of mother of pearl buttons, which are like Popper. I quite like it. It's
wear it.
It's a
Don't
little
keep
bit
things
country,
for best. Don't keep things for best.
But I bought it about 2 years ago. No, I'm never going to wear it. And I've got loads of shirts that are a bit tatty or they don't fit me or... I don't need that stuff. I don't need all of those records. I don't need any of that stuff. And part of me thinks life would be simpler if that stuff was gone. Now, is that an oversimplification?
Yeah. Life would be functional.
But I think there is an element of truth in that. It's like my computer, right? I've got two computers and the laptop here, what I've done to make my life easier, to make my window, what do they call it? Desktop, that's what they call it. To make it tidier, I put everything into a folder called Tidy. Now, all that means now is I've got a folder that's everything is in.
That's the rug you've swept it all under.
But now there's more and more stuff is building up around it, outside it. And I just think there's too much stuff in the world. And I just wonder what my life would be like without it.
I think you're right, Ian, because I've said to my friends, which looks a bit weird, but I've said, don't buy me anything, because if anything, I'm trying to get rid of stuff. And stuff that I'm never going to, don't buy me stuff I'm never going to use. If we got it for a meal...
Yeah. I was going to say, don't you think it's an age thing? The older you get, the more likely it is that if you fancy something, you can buy it for yourself. So you've got loads of stuff. Actually, what you want is time and experiences.
I'm of the thinking that if you're going to do it, you've got to do it all in one go. Or you've got to do it all in right, I'm going to get rid of all my vinyl. Now I'm going to get rid of all of my CDs and DVDs. You can't do it like I'm going to get rid of these 10 CDs and it's.
But that's you though. You're an extreme person.
Well, that is something to throw me at literally the last 62 seconds of the show.
It's true.
I'm an extreme person.
It's all or nothing with you.
Yeah, I'm a Muslim extremist. Catherine on literally, the Dire Moments of the show has come out and called me a Muslim extremist. Well, you're a Christian fundamentalist, but yeah, I don't. Jonathan and Carl, we're out of time.
Good night.
Ta-ta.
Night.
Thank you for that. I enjoyed that. Apart from the bit when I was called a Muslim.
I didn't call you a Muslim
You
extremist.
called me.
You're a man of extremes.
Well, if I became a Muslim, you're saying I'd be an extremist?
Yeah.
Racist. You can't be racist against Muslims. It's not a race. Islamophobe.
Oh, you got me there.
That's the name of my new album, Islamophobe. But it's ironic. We're not, actually. We're quite pro-Islam. We're pro all religions.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Apart from the Buddhists. I know it's not technically a religion, but we anyway, I need to...
Stop.
Thank you very much indeed. Back tonight at 10. Ta-ta.
Talk Radio. Listen. Phone. Talk.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.